Here's that rainy day they told me about, and I laughed at the thought.
Had a little bit of money, so the Lord did me good. Got all kind of shit. Got the glow sticks, I got the gotcha bag, got the Hawaiian punch. Man, everybody won't holler at pop what you need. I got it. If I ain't got it, I can find it, you understand? I'm selling glow sticks. Glow sticks that go with the yeah. You know what I'm saying? Harrison Ford!
Also, her mit Harrison Ford.
Fuck off.
こんにちは。ボンバットファミリーと私たちのライブ放送へようこそ。私たちはあなたの視聴とリスニングの喜びのための素晴らしいショーを持っています。今あなたのホストスコッティ・ジェイロとジェリー・ケーブルに STAY BOMBAD を楽しんで覚えておいてください。
Kia ora, welcome to the Tim Show. I'm Tim Wetter Morrison. Now, each week I invite a couple of buddies over to have a bit of a kōrero. We have a bit of a sing-song, and I show them some of my postcards from Hollywood. Ooh, and they're looking pretty flash too. I visit the whānau in New Zealand and around the globe, and I even score some A-listers. Now, this week we've got a Tim Show special. Episode 3, Involvement of the Kiwis. I'm talking Star Wars. We find out how they make us clones. And I catch up with Rena Owen and talk to the producer, Rick McCullum, and talk to the big guy, George Lucas. So, lightsabers on!
Welcome to the Bombadcast.
What's going on, Bombad fam? It's me, your boy, Scotty Jarrett here. Super duper excited tonight. We're going to be looking at some pretty awesome things in terms of Star Wars, but most importantly, in terms of what inspired Star Wars, the nostalgia behind it. Super excited to be here. I'm flying solo from the Connect game on the Xbox 360. But yeah, Jerry does not feel well. He's not going to be able to make it tonight. So excited to be here. It's going to be fun. Cad Bane Bounty. We got some good people in the chat. What's going on, y'all? Shout out to everyone here on a Thursday night here to hang out. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a good episode. It's well researched. I don't do things half-assed here. And just a few things before we get started. Obviously, you're here for this. Very happy to have you here. Special shout out to 067 in the chat. This is great. I'm getting attacked. We've got some cool imagery up here. Buck Rogers. We've got, of course, some Gene Autry right there fighting some sort of weird robot. We'll look at all of this tonight. It's going to be very fun. It's going to be very cool. But most importantly, starting in April, around April 8th, I believe, depends on the time and date of recording, we will be having our Darth Maul Shadow Lord recap show called Bombad Mall Rats. So that's right. We got someone to make and riff on the actual Mall Rats logo by Kevin Smith, and we'll be talking about Darth Maul this way. So hopefully, if anyone has a connect to Kevin Smith, by all means, please get this to this man. He would be a fun interview to have on here one day. But all that being said, yes, we're talking about the serials that inspired Star Wars back in the day, down to its names, down to its stylistic approach. So without further ado, I made a presentation for this just to give everyone some context about the serials that made Star Wars. And of course, these serials in particular are all from the 30s to the 50s. You know, George Lucas, I believe, was born, let me look up, must have been early 40s. What year was George Lucas born? So he was born in 44. So his coming of age would have been like late 50s. So right when, obviously the stuff from American Graffiti was coming out, early 60s, Modesto, California. And serials, for those that are unaware of what serials, y'all, are what would play as pretty much like you've seen the Pixar movies. They would have the Pixar shorts before. They were essentially shorts. There were 20-minute shorts that would end up telling a full episodic story. The problem is they would be in batches of, which is pretty cool, 9 or 12. So, if the rumors are true, we're going to have a 4th trilogy in Star Wars in the next couple of years, I'd imagine, probably in the 2030s, which is really even more fitting that we're talking about something from the 1930s here. So it's kind of awesome to really reflect on and think about that kind of stuff. But so they were told in groups of 9 or groups of 12, and you would have to go to the movie theaters every single Saturday to watch that matinee to find the rest of the story. And Buck Rogers being the one that obviously was the project that George wanted to really recreate in a modern era originally, but had to write his own version of this. And I think for the better, made what coined this whole show, what coined our phrases, what coined so much of what pop culture is today through Star Wars. So without further ado, let's look at this presentation I have right here. I will gladly guide you all through it. One thing I'm a firm believer in, I didn't do this for my own book. I wrote about midichlorians. However, I do think it's crucial that these things are done. Everyone saves their work cited for the end, but I am now, I know it's not APA or MLA certified, but I think it's important to show where your sources are in the beginning to know that it's not a bunch of bullshit. And it's not a bunch of stuff that's not necessarily factually driven, but a lot of these are from similar sources. This is not as well documented, unfortunately, as some would want it to be. There are fan sites, of course, but the unfortunate part about these things are when they were coming out in the 30s, the people that would have archived these on the internet didn't really make it to the internet era we're in now. So a lot of what I was researching and looking into are from forums in the late 90s. So this modern era of the internet didn't really get to touch the generation that would be the ones that had maybe an obsession with this, that maybe, took this kind of stuff in and documented all of it. And it's well documented, don't get me wrong. But in terms of just like analysis and research, not much, really. Not much is there. But also one thing that's really important, people forget this too. These serials sometimes in their own way had some form of product placement in there as a way to sell things. So, I mean, George Lucas is a great example of that, right? He obviously bought all the licensing rights to Star Wars stuff, and that's what made him as such a successful, leading person in entertainment, and made such good investments in technology. And, the big difference between what we get in Buck Rogers versus what we get in Star Wars is really just technology. A lot of the same beats and energy are still there. So without further ado, let's check this out. So I've got a few links on here. I'll blow it up a little bit bigger for all of y'all to see it. The few links you see right here are all things from an archive, different Wikipedia articles, all different avenues of research for this particular subject. So let's check it out. Here we go. So for those that do not know, I'm going to start off with the Phantom Empire. Now, there's a few reasons why I'm starting off here in particular. I'm going to let the chat right now guess, the chat right beneath me. Why would I start with a Gene Autry project instead of a Buck Rogers project? This is still a serial, but just think about the name alone. Just take a second and think about the name alone. I'm gonna wait. I'm sure someone in the chat's gonna be like, well, yeah, duh, dumbass. But I can't believe Count Chocula. I mean, it inspired Noel McDonald too. But I'll give you the answer for those. Yeah, exactly. There you go, Nathan. Perfect, beautiful, excellent. This is what I wanted. You're like the perfect student. You're the one that shoots his hand up in the classroom. Yes, the names of all these projects are close. There's some fathiers maybe. The Phantom Empire was the name that like put me down this rabbit hole as a teenager. And I'll tell you a little bit of backstory here about my grandfather. So what I have here, and I'll show it to you on the big screen so you can all see it. I have something really cool. I've got a 1991 mug of Gene Autry and the Phantom Empire. So it is literally all about the 12 chapter serial. And it is pretty cool because you can look at this part right here. It says the Phantom Empire released as a sci-fi movie serial 1935. So this is kind of predating 1939's, the first Buck Rogers serial. So within itself, that's also kind of an incredible thing. What's really important is where it's from. So the Gene Autry Western Heritage Museum. I got to talk with my grandfather, my papa, Nick Benedetto, because he is one of the, I guess, during his time, he was like one of the few people that was like an archivist for Gene Autry and Gene Autry's legacy. Still to this day, not even a joke, the Gene Autry Foundation. For those that don't know, Gene Autry is like the singing cowboy. Everyone in here knows at least 3 Gene Autry songs written by Gene Autry and his writing partner, and you didn't even realize it. Some of the most important characters in Christmas history is all because of Gene Autry. And my grandfather got to meet him before he passed away. My grandmother and my grandfather went up to California and they met his wife. And he was, by the time but let me see when he died. Hold on. Gene Autry death. He died 1998, 91 years old. So unbelievable. He died in LA, and my grandmother went and visited him, and it's pretty incredible in terms of what his impact was. He wrote some of the biggest Christmas songs of all time. Here Comes Santa Claus, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and of course Frosty the Snowman. So you all know his music subconsciously. He's one of those cultural tentpoles that most people don't even think about in terms of, I guess, impact on pop culture. The reason why I'm saying all this is because my grandfather was obsessed with this man, much like I am with Star Wars. So it, I guess, runs in the blood. And literally, my grandmother, I was present for my grandfather's death. It was me, my cousin Kate, my grandmother, and me. His own children. My mom, my aunt. It was a weird time. Everyone was like in between coming and going. My uncle was on his way, and so we were the only ones there. And like my grandma standing over her husband that she was with for, I think it was like 57 years at that point. And she's like, this is it. Like, this is literally it. And she looked at me in my eyes and she goes, it's time for the last roundup. And I was like, what kind of code is this? I didn't respond with that. So I literally went to YouTube and I looked up the last roundup. And it was really very surreal. It was the last thing he ever heard before he died. That was it. Before the heart stopped, before the breathing stopped, it was the Gene Autry song, It's Time for the Last Roundup. And that was a profound moment to me, because that was one of those things where I'm 22 at the time, and I was like, oh shit, like we just sent this man off. We put the last roundup, of his life was through the music of Gene Autry and the lyrics of Gene Autry. So it was it was pretty incredible. It was very profound. It would be like if someone was like, do you want to watch the Phantom Menace as you die? I'd probably be like, yeah, put that bitch on. Let's watch it. But that's the thing. That's the important thing to have some, context here, is that Gene Autry is rooted in nostalgia. You know, Gene Autry is a country western performer, and back in the day, he was nostalgia for kids that grew up in the 40s. You know, my grandfather was born in 1937, and so when he was growing up, he would see these serials in theaters featuring Gene Autry, and that would be his version of Star Wars for them. You know, episodic serials. Gene Autry had a TV show even. He had specials, he had concerts, records, obviously, radio shows. So for him, that is what Star Wars was, in a metaphorical sense. And for me, it always fascinated me because I never forget being a little kid looking at this mug and thinking the Phantom Empire. I'm like, that's a lot like Star Wars, like Empire's in it, Phantom's in it. And it's just so cool how this legacy would then inspire something that I, of course, I mean, you can tell by my background, just right there alone, right? The Phantom Menace is my favorite Star Wars movie ever, for several reasons, but it's mostly because I was a little boy when I ended up seeing it. So it just speaks to your growing up and what that means. So let's give some more responses, more ideas here. So here's kind of the breakdown of what this is. Made in 1935, 12-chapter serial film. It would show as a matinee before us, movies on Saturday mornings. It was starred Gene Autry. The plot was Gene Autry discovers a hidden underground city, Murania, ruled by Queen Tika. It was a genre mashup of Western, science fiction, and a musical. So we've already got kind of the cool, proto Star Wars here, where it's a mashup. You've got mythology involved with Star Wars. You got Westerns. You've got mythology. But the only thing that was different was that Star Wars, of course, ended up tying a lot of Japanese filmmaking into this as well. So let's go through the plot of it. We'll watch a little bit of this as well. There are some very important visual parallels we can really dive into. They wore breathing helmets on Earth's surface, so like the villains, the Murianians. I actually haven't watched that much of this, so this is still somewhat new to me. Rode armored thunder bikes, I think speeders, and of course you can see it in the image right there. They were sword fighters, and I always like the way when you watch these things, Gene Autry is always wearing a cowboy hat, but I didn't realize it till looking at it. Look at Gene Autry's hair in that one little particular image. I mean, it looks almost identical to what mine's doing right now. Completely unintentional, but he was probably a curly-haired guy. Obviously, Darth Vader had to wear a life-sustaining helmet, and his voice and breathing are mechanical. And both these characters do rely on technology to survive, much like these characters in this show. So the name, I love the name. We know that George Lucas specifically pulled these pulpy names into Star Wars, with the prequels being the most of the pulpy. I know the OT's got A New Hope, not a little hope, a little pulpy, it's kind of dramatic. Empire Strikes Back is super pulpy, down to the logo and the font. Just, it looks so similar to this. Return to the Jedi, little pulpy, not pulpy, but like pulpy enough. The prequels, however, are just ridiculously pulpy, with The Phantom Menace directly ripped from what we see right here. Attack of the Clones, very, very pulpy as well. And then Revenge of the Sith is also a play on Return of the Jedi. But it doesn't stop there, because if you look at the sequel trilogy, they also are very pulpy. The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi. I love The Last Jedi. That one's probably the pulpiest of them all. The Rise of Skywalker, The Phantom Empire, So just mysterious, very cool. It felt like a serial, and George Lucas specifically said that The Phantom Menace is meant to be chapter 1 of a serial, which serials are usually 12 parts. So pretty cool that, if we think about it, 9 episodic stories, that's exactly what we're seeing here in Star Wars. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, 2, Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. And it tells a complete story, and they're longer than these serials. Obviously, these serials run anywhere between 10 and 22 or 23 minutes. But I love it. You see it, a mascot serial in 12 chapters with Gene Autry, radio singing cowboy. Some inspiration here. George has always said this. I think it even is mentioned in Empire of Dreams, the documentary. I wanted to do a modern version of serials I grew up with, and this is what he grew up with. This is a singing serial. This is a cowboy and Western serial. And Gene Autry was the classic, perfectly clean cut, perfectly handsome. Oh, of course, Eli, the crawls. That's the last thing I mentioned in this entire little lecture I'm going to be giving tonight. Then we're going to start watching some of these things, but that's one of the most important things. Even down to the 4-dot ellipses, which is truly there. But yeah, George, obviously we know, kind of channeled all of his inspirations into these projects, and he was growing up in Modesto, still very much a cowboy area, very Americana. So this is speaking to that same language. So to now get into the Buck Rogers of it all, same kind of look. Gene Autry, strong jaw, strong cheekbones, much like God, I can't remember this man's his name. Crabtree, something Crabtree. What is? Oh, dude, this is gonna make me forget. Hold on, we're looking at Buster Crabtree. I think looks a little bit like Brando to me personally, but yeah. So let's do the comparative analysis for this now, just so you can have it in mind when we watch these later. Flash Gordon, hero. Luke Skywalker, hero. Both are young Earthmen, but obviously he's not Luke's not an Earthman, but they go from being very common people to then being galactic heroes who fight a tyrannical empire. And it starts off small, ends up big. And of course, Luke is totally modeled after Flash Gordon. And obviously, the other supporting characters are very similar. Prince Baron Arborea, right here, is very much a Han Solo type, kind of roguish. Arborea is a prince. I'm sorry, Prince Baron of Arborea. He is a prince, as you can see. That's the princely look of this man. But yeah, he was there to help defeat the Empire. So he defected as well. He fills that Han Solo scoundrel role. Princess Aurora, Ming's daughter, which I think is kind of a cool thing. I like to see a little bit of this in Star Wars as well. This is the daughter of the Emperor himself, which is kind of cool because Princess Leia is indeed, the daughter of Darth Vader. So there's something to be there. Both villain daughters who aid the hero. But Luke is also the son of that same villain as well. But very Leia coded, even down to the outfit. Very similar to Slave Leia. Let's see. Oh, no, it's funny. I've only watched the Flash Gordon from the 80s like once. I really didn't get anything out of it. I'm sure it's good now, but I watched it when I was, probably 17 years old. It was on VH1 at one point. Prince Thurn, Hawkman, which I love this character right here. Chewbacca. And for those that don't know, I failed to mention this. Buck Rogers was a comic at first, 1929. It was very early comics and, I guess graphic novel style storytelling. But as you can see right there, that's what he looked like. And of course, I believe that it's similar to, in a way, Chewbacca is, kind of like a beast man, this person can speak though. Let's see, what did Cad Bates? Oh, my mother-in-law, probably on hardcore. Yes, that's the thing. It's obviously dated. It's obviously a little silly. Ming the Merciless, Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, got a big bad, Supreme Evil Emperor. Ming's role as a merciless galactic tyrant directly parallels Palpatine in both trilogies. The thing that to be said about Ming, even down to the name, little racist, it kind of paints anything of Oriental culture in bad light. You can tell, like, down to I like the outfit. The outfit is kind of Snoke, though, I will say. But, yeah, so Ming was a yellow person. So it's pretty, it's the 1930s. We're actually, if it's 1939, we're like right into World War One. So there's like something to be said about that. So I know I'm not gonna dance around it. I'm not gonna make it something that's not obvious, but very much of, I guess Asian descent in terms of its style. But yeah, just based off it alone, you can see, however, it is very, very, very inspired, and does inspire, Palpatine. King Volton, this is one of those characters that double crossed Flash Gordon in the original serial. So kind of has a turn, helpful, also kind of a bad guy, ruler of a floating city, which is really cool. Just like Lando was a ruler of a floating city as well. And we're going to watch all of this in a moment. Plot elements and tropes. So this is really important. This is where like Star Wars Rebels does it right for me. The Imperial assault on a galaxy, that's kind of the blanket one. Disguised infiltration of enemy base. This happens a lot in these serials where they'll dress up as the bad guy. This happens in Phantom Empire, and it all, of course, happens here. A Held Princess, there's a rescue mission. There's a gladiatorial fight. So this is a big one right here. This creature, I forgot what the name of it was. But yeah, as you can see, Bolton's also played by future. Oh, okay, so that's pretty awesome that George really took from that. This creature had a name. I don't know. I've always liked how creepy these old Hollywood suits would look like original King Kong as a kid would always kind of freak me out with how it moved, you know. But the horn on the moment's head, the way the fur looks, how big and large it is, like it's just a little unsettling. I don't know why. And obviously they were trying really hard, but like it just poorly done enough to be even creepier in black and white. And maybe that's just like a weird irrational fear that I've always had. But like it's always kind of freaked me out to see these old weird, you know, prosthetics, and they just look kind of stiff and they move stiff, and the only thing that moves is their eyes, and everything else is stationary. The mouth is the only thing that's articulate here. There are dog fights, space battles in here. There's a floating city and base, and of course it's serialized, it's multi-formatted. But yeah, it's just I like how unsettling this creature is. There's a big gladiator fight in Buck Rogers, so it kind of reminds you of Attack of the Clones, or maybe even the Mandalorian and Grogu now, which is pretty cool, which we will get a gladiatorial, a real authentic, like in an arena one, which is gonna be so cool. Design, aesthetics, and similarities. So there's some pretty cool stuff here that people, you know, like to blame Star Wars for, but it's always been a part of culture. Opening crawl titles, they have a screen they talk through, a communicator, like a hologram, ray guns and lasers, very Star Wars, planetary and fortress designs, costume, visual motifs, you know, what people wear, what they do. There's cities in the clouds, and of course, film editing. Film editing is huge for this, and you'll see that when we watch a little bit more of it. But I mean, this is a great example of toys. Like these toys aren't from, you know, a different time. These toys are very much from the era. So you're looking at like a real authentic 1940s toy, 50s toy, or even 30s toy that was modeled after Flash Gordon. It's a ray gun, and I think you could actually like change the light up of the thing, and like you can see it comes with some sort of lens on there to change the color of the blaster up. So to me, that's the thing. There's so much of what made Star Wars because of this stuff, and George maybe was the best at kind of weaving all this together. Hey, Buck, glad to see you here. By the way, thank you everyone for hanging out tonight. This is a really fun topic for me. I've been digging into this stuff for the last week, and I didn't think I'd go solo, but it's fine that I am. I'm enjoying just hanging out with y'all and just ranting about this cool stuff and what I've seen. But here we go. Here's the thematic overlaps. Here's kind of you know, what you can see directly inspired Star Wars, just without even, you know, trying to hide it. It's all about good versus evil. There was a little bit of a hero's journey arc. Obviously, you know, the people that made Buck Rogers were not really, you know, the hero's journey book had not come out yet. It came out in the 50s. But it is important to acknowledge that there is an overarching story in most heroes' journeys, and it's that, you know, you start as a no one, you end up becoming a someone, and you save the world doing it. Empire versus Rebel Alliance, rescuing the oppressed, technology and mysticism, and most importantly, episodic storytelling. So you can see right here, here's a great example of an opening crawl. So this opening crawl was specifically designed for people that maybe didn't see the other serial the week before, or they may have forgotten it, as a reminder for what is going on. So you can see this is a really good example, down to what is capitalized, what is left uncapitalized, you know, even the little hyphens and like the things that have to break the words apart, the dashes and stuff, and most importantly, the 4 ellipses. So, or I guess this is the 4 dots. You know, it's meant as a dramatic pause before the actual action occurred. And we're gonna watch some of these, but I I don't know if that's the case, but if that, maybe I'm wrong. I haven't watched Flash Gordon in a minute. But yeah, no, I always was fascinated by this. So like, I mean, I can do, if you could, I'll read this one right here just so you see it. Joining forces, they break into Ming's laboratory in time to halt a fiendish laboratory test, but Flash pitted against a giant, tremendous strength. But like, so, dot, 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 dot. You know, it's just very dramatic. The Phantom Menace being my favorite one. I have it memorized. Turmoil has engulfed the galactic public. The taxation of trade routes to outlying star systems is in dispute. Hoping to resolve the matter with a blockade of deadly battleships, the greedy Trade Federation has stopped all shipping to the small planet of Naboo. While the Congress of the Republic endlessly debates this alarming chain of events, the Supreme Chancellor has secretly dispatched 2 Jedi Knights, the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy, to settle the conflict. That's all from memory. But the reason why I said it from memory is because it is dramatic. It sets up what you're going to watch. But yeah, it's really cool. So I'm going to go back real quick just to put you back in the headspace. We're going to watch The Phantom Empire. And obviously throughout the week, I was making some social media posts about this project. So I haven't really watched that much of it in a minute, but we're going to go, and then we might get copyright hit. I don't know how diligent these people are. The foundation, the Gene Autry Foundation, are about, you know, copyright in terms of their projects, but this is one of them, and there's a couple of good songs in this one. So let me just show you this tab real quick, and this is all Internet Archive. You can find pretty much any old movie on Internet Archive. It's all cataloged there. If we do have a copyright attack, it's by all means we can live past it. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to get attacked by Gene Autry, you know, the ghost of Gene Autry. But yeah, no, that being said, so to kind of bring this back in, this is all Internet Archive. This is all free to watch. I got a shout out to one of our listeners, one of our friends here at the Bombadcast. Let's see. It was from Kyle. Kyle McDonough. Donahue, I don't know. I think it's Donahue. But Kyle reached out to us last Thursday and said, I was listening to last night's episode about Maul Shadow Lord. You brought up maybe checking out some of the old serials that inspired George Lucas. According to JustWatch.com, there are a fair amounts of old Flash Gordon serials currently streaming on Plex, which is a free streaming app without website. They are under the Flash Gordon serials. And he said, I went to the site to confirm. They're indeed there. Just wanted you to know. Thanks for the show. Keep up the great work. Which, thank you, Kyle. I really appreciate it, man. First of all, you were the one that kind of totally like honed in this, like, okay, this is what we're talking about, you know? And look, at Bombadcast, we pride ourselves in a lot of things. And one of the things we pride ourselves on the most is that, you know, we cover medium and things that most people often overlook, or they would rather the clicks from, you know, what's hot, what's going on right now. And I don't blame them. It's fun. We did that last week, talking about Maul Shadow Lord. But most importantly, we have to honor why we are here. You know, we must acknowledge how we got from, you know, Flash Gordon to A New Hope, from A New Hope to the Phantom Menace, Phantom Menace to the Force Awakens, from the Force Awakens to the Mando and Grogu. How did we get here, you know? So, and that's what I was going to say. The Phantom Empire should be public domain. It released in 1935. So I believe it's 85 years. So we're right at that mark. Oh no, we might be a little bit over it. Yeah, we're a little bit over it now. Just about. No, hold on. Let me do the math on this. 35, 20, 25, 90 years. I think copyright is 95 years. I think it goes away, but it doesn't matter. Let's enjoy this. I don't care if we get attacked. It would be kind of cool. Let me know if y'all can hear it. This is from the DVD. I had this DVD. Obviously the quality will not be that good, but here it is. This is the precursor to Buck Rogers. I wish we could still spend more time with credits like this. It would save me a lot of anxiety. Scientific City of Murania. Murania? There it is. This is apparently 20,000 feet below the ground. Chapter 1, the singing cowboy with the electricity.
Stay with him, Red! Stay with him, cowboy! Look out!
So just keep in mind, little George Lucas watching this in theaters. And you can tell the energy's all there, you know? Radio Ranch! That was cool. Like, yeah. All probably filmed in California.
Man making another raid!
So that's the
You
thing.
know what we're after? Throw it out and be quick about it.
He said the entire serial is just a little over 4 hours. So this is right at 3 hours and 44 minutes. We're just going to watch. We're going to skip around. I want to show like, you know, the cowboy part of this and then lead into like what the futuristic sci-fi aspect of it was that made this serial in particular kind of unique.
I'll hand them out.
They got the guitars out.
That's not all. There's one more. That's fine.
Upright bass. So probably start off with some music
Yes,
too.
folks, it's Dean Autry making another raid on your time with his Radio Riders, broadcasting from Radio Ranch. We're about to bust right into your homes with some real ranch music and singing.
Yes.
Nevertheless, we're going to give you some real ranch music and singing. A long, long time ago, as all you folks should know, Uncle Noah built himself an ark. For 40 days and nights, the rain was sure a fright, and the animals nearly tore his ark apart. Duck went quack, cow went cock-a-doodle-doo. The old tomcat sure raised an awful row.
That voice should sound a little familiar to, you know, it's Christmas time when you hear Frosty, you know, you hear Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I mean, that's Gene, you know. Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Like that's all Gene. So even down to the pluck, you know, I want to get a guitar out. Actually, we'll get my grandfather's guitar out. So this is the one that my grandmother gifted them on their 1-year anniversary in 1958. It's not out of tune a little bit, but I mean, it's just that whole. It's just that whole. Yeah, here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Right down Santa Claus Lane. It is a ring, you know, but a merry. I mean, it's all that. It's just picking. It is a 1958 Silvertone Sears guitar. Not Silvertone. Yeah, it's Silvertone. It is one of those ones that has a very nice, very dead sound to it. But the neck is a little compromised. It's old. You know, it's. But that being said, you know, it's very much of that era. So let's keep this thing going.
Biggest rain we've had. Uncle Noah's Ark's a madhouse now. The horses and cattle and fowls of the air. Even the long-eared jacket was there. Quack! The elf did who? Whoop! Cock-a-doodle-doo. All were there on Uncle Noah's Ark.
Uncle Noah's Ark.
To the winter bright and fine, and Uncle Noah thought it was time to land. He couldn't open the door, got his hammer on the shore, and the animals roared and growled to beat the band. Duck went crack, cow went cock-a-doodle-doo. The old tomcat sure raised an awful row. The little pig squealed, the billy goat back, the big rain we've had. Uncle Noah's Ark's a madhouse now. The horses and cattle and fowls of the air. Even the long.
These shots are pretty cool. I mean, that's a cool cut.
They all were there in Uncle Noah's Ark.
That was dope. I like how it cut from those two side
We're now
profiles.
turning the microphone over to Frankie and Betsy Baxter, President and Vice President of the National Thunder Riders Club. You're on the air, kids. It's all yours. First, I want to ask all of you to... First, I want to... Pardon the static, folks. First, I want to ask all of you to join our National Thunder
Pardon the static, folks.
Come out here to our vacation camp.
I'm going to say that next
See a
more
radio
live.
broadcast put on like it should. Riding, roping, real horses, real guns, real cowboys. All you boys.
And the girls, too.
We don't want any girls.
We do, too.
Now, in reply to your letters, boys and girls, as to how we came to select the name Thunder Riders for our club.
One day, Frankie and I were having a horse race down in the desert.
We were riding like the wind, just having a lot of fun. When all of a sudden, we heard something that sounded like a roar of thunder.
Thunder. It's gonna rain.
Rain nothing. Well, there isn't a cloud in the sky. That's from Thunder Valley. I heard it once before.
The Thunder Riders.
There we go. So they're wearing masks. Obviously, they're not on, speeder bikes or anything, but it's kind of that similar energy. Wearing capes. Uh-oh. They found him. Yeah, it is. I agree, Brady. It is very odd. But it is unique. I mean, that's what George did. It is what would have inspired George's everything. Ooh. This tall tree. Shots there are colorized versions of this. I just want to be as authentic as possible. My mic went out.
And that's how we came to call our club the Thunder Riders. The legend is a real...
Hello? It says it's being picked up on my end. Let me know if that's just a me mistake. Let me look. Hold on. Let's go under. This might fix it. Let's do auto levels. Okay, maybe none of that makes it any better. Let's see. Okay, good. Sorry. Yeah, that's also true, right? I mean, that's a really kind of an interesting thing to bring up, Brian. That Jon Favreau did in 2011 or 2010. I saw it in theaters. It was so good. With Harrison Ford and Daniel Craig, Cowboys and Aliens. So kind of played into it. And that movie is a pretty crazy climax, actually.
Reality to Betsy and me. And if we ever see those riders again, we'll sure tell you more about it. Thank you, Frankie and Betsy. Thank you. And remember, all you kids that can't come out to the race, you can form a Thunder Riders Club in your own town and ride with us every afternoon. Just send in your name, and we'll send you a pattern so that your mother can make you a costume. Everybody ready? You.
Look, they wear these
Let me remind you,
metal helmets.
when we left our radio show yesterday, the settler's wife was cowering in the corner of her log cabin, while her heroic husband, willing to give his life for those he loved, suffered terrific torture. You remember he had substituted his arm for the wooden bar across the door, which the bandits outside were trying to batter in. Already the door is beginning to shatter under their blows, and it seems but a moment until his tired, bruised arm will break. And now for the Thunder Riders. Are you all set, Eddie? Here they come!
It's kind of cool. It's like a play on a radio show.
Thunder Riders get there in time!
They're like live acting. They're LARPing.
And that, folks, you will learn when you tune in tomorrow. Good afternoon. Radio Rank now signing off.
Say, is our ranch becoming popular? And all on account of your broadcast.
Why, our guests are coming on trains and horses and an automobile.
And now, they're arriving by airplane.
Ah, that's cool.
You said that ranch was deserted. It's deserted, all right. What about the fortune and radium you promised us? You'll get your radium. Gentlemen, I am firmly convinced that this is the site of the buried city of Mu. And with proper excavation, we'll find more than radium. We'll find secrets that have been lost to the world for thousands of years.
This is kind of cool. It's got like a conspiracy theory thing of like, we're going to find this lost city under the ground.
Welcome to Radio Ranch, gentlemen. Quite a surprise to see a plane around here.
The world is full of surprises. Beaton is my name, Professor Beaton.
I'm Dean Autry.
Do you think that we might secure accommodation?
Sure, we can take care of you.
This way, gentlemen, please.
In a vine-covered shack in the mountains, bravely fighting the battle time, is a dear one.
My grandfather once said, which I really do agree with. He said, he taught me, I paused it. No, I'm talking about it. He taught me my first three chords, which were C major, F major, G7, and C. He goes, now you can play any country western song. I thought it was such a funny line to tell a kid learning guitar. And I believed him, but that's obviously not the case. But it's just the whole, and I did write a whole entire song, a few years later called Half a Squirrel Song, which is on my album that came out New Year's Day. Which is those same three chords. So it was very conscious when I wrote it. It's a half a squirrel kind of world out there. You get taken up, you get beaten down, getting thrown everywhere. Half and half makes a roll, but trust me, man, it's a roll. Betray a life in half a squirrel. Oh no. We'll wait for it to come back on, but we got attacked. We got attacked by Gene Autry's people. Let me know when I'm back on. I took it off the screen. That was weird. It was only that one clip. I did it. That's okay. We can move on to some Buck Rogers. Let me know when I'm back on the screen. Let me see if I can check my own YouTube account. It might not be. It might have got renewed. Let's see. I see an ad. That's hilarious. Hold on. This is, of course, what happened. Oh, stream unavailable. Oh, come on. You got copyright attacked, man. I just keep playing songs. It's a have a squirrel kind of world out there. You get taken up, you get beaten down and thrown everywhere. Half and half runs the roll, but trust me, man, it's a roll to portray a line on half a squirrel. Don't cross the road if you're scared. The strangers hiding out everywhere. So take it from me, a true honoree. Half a squirrel is what you wanna be. Okay, well, we'll see what happens here. From what my mom just said, this is still live on Facebook. Probably on Twitch too. Okay, I'm still live on Twitch, which is nice. Facebook is still live. Love you too, G. Sorry, it looks like I'm just sitting here doing nothing, but the stream got attacked on YouTube. We hadn't even watched any Buck Rogers yet, man. What is up with this? So you can I can get you all the links to those things. Give me a second. If you want to go to Twitch, if you want to go to any of them, I'll get it pulled up. Hold on. So sorry about this, y'all. What a funny little thing to mess up. You do everything you can, you know. You do everything you can to make sure that this does not happen, but it still does. So funny, I had Nick Milky reach out this past week. Nick's like, so how do y'all watch things and not get attacked by copyright stuff? I'm like, we just don't. They don't care enough. But obviously not the case right now. Here are the two comments. If you want to go to our Facebook, if you want to go to our thing, but hey, Brennan Marr. Well, Star Wars had their radio show, which pronounces everything really weird. And you actually get backstory on in Wedge Antilles, get all that. So yeah. So we'll see. I got my mom and my aunt both texting me. I wish YouTube would fix itself. The email we got from YouTube said this. It says, due to copyright match, your stream was interrupted. Streams are interrupted when copyright content is detected. After copyright material is no longer being streamed, streams are automatically re-enabled. But for some reason, that still hasn't happened yet on YouTube. Not that I'm going to wait and make this thing work. I'll keep talking. We can keep watching stuff. But YouTube being the problem is a little alarming. So might have to be a little bit more aware of that whenever these things happen. Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, it's really odd that happened for a Gene Autry live stream. Yeah, still not working on YouTube. No, I was watching something. We were watching The Phantom Empire. So and then it took us down, G. Oh, it's back up on YouTube. We're good on YouTube. We're not going to watch more of it, unfortunately. We can still keep talking about it. We're back on YouTube for those that were watching on YouTube. I'm not going to show more of the Phantom Empire. We might be able to watch a little bit of Buck Rogers, even though Plex TV does for some reason have the rights to it. Okay, let's see. I'm waiting for everyone to show back up. Thanks for everyone for joining in. Yeah, no, it's weird. We don't. I only use YouTube to watch my live stuff, so it's weird to go into Twitch and do that. So I'll just perform the entire Phantom Empire for y'all. But right. Anyway, that being said, I want to get back into it, but I don't want to get attacked again by the YouTube gods. Which is so silly. I mean, this is a 1935 movie, but that's okay. I mean, everyone's got to have to, make their money some way, and part of it's making it this way. But if you don't mind leaving a like for this, I don't know if you can hype my videos. I have no idea. Any of those things, you can do that for us. Sorry this happened, y'all. Well, let's just try to do a Buck Rogers thing. And honestly, I think it was that song that they sang that got YouTube so worked up. So I'm gonna pull it back on screen. We might get flagged again. I doubt it, but we're gonna skip past a little bit just so you can get an idea. So they literally infiltrate this place with their stupid helmets on, posing as these people, and they sneak into the hidden city under the ground with these explorers that are obviously looking for this place. But yeah, this one does not have the classic, the titles are very watch. every episode. See the end of the forgotten people. Science surpassed. Yes, this is like a teaser for the rest of it, which there's. Oh, look at them warping the film. Ride each week to the rescue. The Junior Thunder Riders. Well, the Junior Thunder Riders, kind of cool. The Phantom Empire. Don't miss an episode. The greatest serial made for you. Chapter 2. The Thunder Riders. Yeah, man, this stuff's so sick. I love this stuff, man. But it's essentially Star Wars, right? You know, we've got the Thunder Riders with their things on. I'm not gonna play any more music. But yeah, it's all good-hearted, good versus evil, kind of fun. And you can see, you know, they have some pretty cool. Look, I'll just do it with the sound off. Maybe that'll help. But you can see like they're doing some pretty early videos. They've got robots with cowboy hats, essentially. These are the people that are, of course, sneaking into. No, this people that are part of the base. This is the Muranias. But like, look, and this is very Phantom Menace-y. You know, you've got these people with these huge, like, big outfits, very science fiction-y. Kind of got the Princess Leia thing going on, Queen Amidala thing going on over here. But it was very much inspired. You know, I know the effect for a fact. The effect where, you know, Queen Amidala is talking to the Nemoidians or vice versa on the Trade Federation ship, where it warbles and warps the image like that. I think it might be from Buck Rogers, but I also think they may have used it actually in this exact serial. So they're doing pretty cool, you know, transitions. They're pretty cool wipes. You can see all the early visual effects they could use. I love the robots, you know. We can't obviously listen to it. Look at them saluting each other, hand over the chest. That's them taking a little elevator back to the yeah, look how many thousands of feet down they are. That's so cool. But yeah, so obviously, you know, it plays into it. That's the helmets they have to wear to make sure they breathe. That's their COVID gear. Yeah, look at that. How cool is that? They got these little masks on. Let's see.
Rest. I am ready. Always the good captain. Lord High Chancellor and the prisoner of the Empire. Your Imperial men.
Your Imperial men.
You have been a good commander of my Thunder Guard. Yet not good enough. Twice you have failed to capture this surface man, Gene Autry, whose radio ranch has attracted sufficient people to this vicinity to make discovery of our empire a possibility.
Which is pretty cool. So the radio ranch, you know, is broadcasting, and it's going to bring people to the hidden city of Murania. So look, I mean, you've got, you know, classic Chapter 4, the Phantom broadcast. So here's a little bit of that little title crawl thing. They don't do it quite like Buck Rogers does, where it moves. This is very much, you know, it kind of lays down the plot. So if you do end up watching it, you can keep track of it. For radium deposits, Geometry is falsely accused of a murder to keep him from broadcasting at Radio Ranch. They wanted, and is wanted by the sheriff. How cool is that? How iconic. My mom and my aunt are texting me right now. They're like, man, we used to watch this exact one on your grandfather's, you know, real film projector, you know, in the living room. So here we go. Here's a cool effect. Check this out. This is exactly what I was looking for. Very Phantom Menace.
Is that not better than living on the surface? Mechanical men doing all the labor? Sound. I want to hear them.
You men are attached to the citadel of the realm of the secret fleet. Lord our
Oh, I hate that I had to stop it. The stream got sniped again for playing a 1935 movie. For anyone watching still, thank you so much. We got attacked again by the YouTube gods. He says, I'm officially hypnotized. My stepdad's a little behind, I guess, in the stream. Let's see, did they hit us with another email? They didn't. Just pissing them off at this point. For those that don't know that are still watching us on YouTube, we got hit with a copyright because we were playing some Gene Autry movies. So we're gonna have to move past some Gene Autry, unfortunately. I'm just gonna wait till everyone gets back in here, I guess. What a pain in my ass, man. Let's see. Hold on, let's do. YouTube removed your content. Wow. That's crazy. That's unfortunate. We've removed your content. That's crazy. They straight up deleted it. That's wild. On the shorts, though, it's still good. That is nuts. How does that work? Hold on. Well, this is a damn shame, man. This is a damn shame. They straight up got rid of it. For those still watching, I'm just going to end the live stream. I'm going to cut it out and have just the opening, all trimmed out on here. So thanks for joining, I guess. I don't know what else to do. It sucks. But yeah, I was hoping to have a fully fleshed out thing, but the YouTube gods demanded that this not be the case. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for joining this evening. I guess I'm just going to end it. As always, stay bombad. I don't know. It's just, this has been the serials that inspired George Lucas. Silly, silly, silly. I'd rather just end this and clip it out and y'all can enjoy it. I'm so sorry that this didn't work out the way I was intending it to. We've watched entire VHSs that are still in copyright on this, and it's shocking that this is what happens here. But so sorry, all of y'all. This is a weird ending to our live stream. It never happens this way. Solo live stream, in fact. But anyway, love you guys. Stay bombad.
Did you say impossible? Pasquale? Only kidding, Chucky. I've changed my tune because I finally thought of a possible dream that we can all share.
What is it? Pasquale?
It's a dream about a world when nobody is poor or sick or hungry.
Oh, now that's a dream we can make come true.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
As I point up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind.
not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? Alzheimer's disregard